Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Living the Line. I'm Carson Grubaugh, and we have a super cute book today. So that means that my lovely and super cute partner, Torie, will be joining me for another edition of Torie Talks. And we're going to be doing not just a review of this book, Dewdrop, but an artist overview of the artist Katie O'Neill.
Yeah, they're all ridiculously cute. I think we've got every book of hers except for one.
Yeah, and that other one looked like she was working in a different. It looks like it was probably her first book, and she was working in
Hmm.
a different style, which is the only reason I didn't get it. But we got, I got for my birthday. I maintain an active list on Amazon of books that I would like to read that I can't buy myself, and that helps my mother out because she still likes to, even though I'm a well adult man who shouldn't be getting presents from his mother, she likes to buy me books, but she also doesn't like to buy the types of things I normally like. So she was very excited to find this children's book series on there and shipped me that. And as soon as we got those, Tori saw me looking at it from the couch and kind of squealed in delight. And we both really enjoyed them, and so I had to order the other two books. And yeah, we wanted to just give a overview of Katie O'Neill's work because it is fantastic art, super charming books, super charming stories.
And it's so funny that she's done an axolotl when just like recently we've been talking about and like making jokes about axolotls lately, and it's just funny how animals seems to go through like phases.
Yeah, like owls were a thing like in
Yeah.
2010. I do feel like the
Sloths were a
axolotl.
thing,
Yeah.
or llamas were a thing. Like, yeah, it is funny. So, like, I do, yeah, axolotls have been like the popular animal lately, but
Well, and I mean they're super cute. They're very strange looking cute creatures, but you can see immediately as we're flipping through the book like all the key elements of Katie O'Neill's style. And this one's more of like a young kids book, where the other ones are more like kids age, like reading age kids, elementary school, junior
yeah, but
high.
this is for like someone who you would have to sit down and read with, like toddler.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit more stripped down and simple, but an art style that relies almost exclusively on shape and color with minimal amounts of line, which is a look that I've been falling more and more and more in love with over the last few years. And I think Katie O'Neill's stuff is the closest to like what I want out of the Hologen collaboration that I'm doing right
Mm.
now in terms of like super marketable, slick looking appeal to kids, but could have something serious to say as well. But this one's super simple though, story wise. Is it's this little axolotl that just wants to help all of its friends get better.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think that I. Oh, so sweet. They match my nails. I don't even think that I probably read any of the dialogue in this one. It was just so.
Oh, really?
I honestly just kind of like flipped through and looked at all the pictures because they're just so sweet. I mean, yeah, even without reading it, like I still knew that the story was an axolotl going around helping its little friends, and it was really cute. And
And you can just see like the super sophisticated underneath all of the very childish, cute stuff. There's very sophisticated compositions and use of shape and color and all of that. So, yeah, I'm totally falling in love with this stuff. So that's a look at Dewdrop, the axolotl that just wants to be helpful. Then next up is Aquicorn Cove, and this is a one-off. These are all from Oni Press, by the way. So good job, Oni, for putting these out because this is fantastic, and they're extremely well-produced, lovely book with really nice paper and just a real joy.
yeah, and I mean, as soon as I was looking in, I think I was reading in the back of one of the Tea Dragon books and saw that like some of the other work included the Aquacorn Cove, and I was like, well, we're getting that because
Yeah.
yeah, I was one of those marine biologist girls who was convinced that I was like obsessed with the ocean, obsessed with dolphins. So I was like, well, obviously I'm gonna love this no matter what.
Yeah, there's like horse girls, marine biologist girls, and like I'm gonna be a mommy. Is
Yeah, I don't
there
know.
what's the and then like for boys it's like cop, fireman, astronaut.
Yeah, I was definitely the marine biologist girl. Even though I lived in like a landlocked state and had never seen the ocean with my own two eyes, but
So like this image right here was more than your little soul ever could have hoped or dreamed for out of a book.
yeah, this spoke deeply to like 9-year-old me that had dolphin posters all over her walls and yeah, wanted nothing more than like to keep a little pet seahorse in an aquarium in my house.
Like a unicorn seahorse.
Yeah, which makes it even better, right? It was so cute. It's any little girl that's like a marine biologist girl or like into that kind of stuff will be immediately obsessed with this.
Well, and I think pretty much any kid who like there's so much of that Miyazaki like joy in the artwork too. I really feel like that same vibe of joy that you get in a Studio Ghibli movie or something. I mean, even just an image like this has those kind of the color palette that he has where everything stays kind of lighter and brighter and happy.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because when I was reading this, I think I even mentioned it to you. There are so many parallels between this story to me and Ponyo.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
You know, it's like coastal town. It's this like the single parent. I mean, Ponyo, the boy in Ponyo, his dad was not gone or whatever, but you know, like the storm that rolls in, the figure that's in the ocean, the young girl. Like I don't know. There's differences, but there are a lot of similarities too, both in like the setup and the general story.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty absurd to think that the artist making this hasn't spent some time enjoying Miyazaki at some point in their youth.
Yeah. And I don't mean that. I don't say that to like detract from any of this because I think it's still a very sweet story.
Oh no, not at all. It's a compliment. Like you're getting into that realm of greats.
Yeah.
So this one here, the story is about Lana and Aunt May here, and they've got like Aunt May has got this coastal little shack. And who's this character here? Do you remember?
That's her dad.
That's her dad. Okay.
I can never remember his name.
That's May's dad, though. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so like they used to, I guess they all used to live in this fishing village, and then Lena and her dad moved away after her mom, you come to find out, passed away.
And so they're coming back to live here, and you can just see right away the art, the color palettes.
Yeah, I have marked this because like even just this one single frame here, it's like that. Yeah, it's so it makes me want to go to the ocean. Like it makes me long for the beach.
Yeah, and these these three at least, this one as well, are all like you freeze that as a screenshot and you're like, that movie looks awesome.
Yeah, and it just captures that like magic of being on the beach and like the sense of the ocean. And yeah, it does. It looks like, wow, I want to see that as like an animated film for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she finds this sweet little aquacorn and he's sick. Oh, he looks so sad. Look at his we got a little ouchie.
Oh, this is like ouchies on his skin.
Yeah, and then he's got like a little, well, you find out it's like the disease because the reef is sick, but.
Oh, the reef is sick and the sad little aquacorn. He's super cute though in his little jar. And what a great like silhouette, like the little icon on the front.
Oh yeah, immediately. I mean, just like that little icon. I knew before even like reading the story. I was like, I know what that is, and I know it's fucking adorable. Like already, I don't even need to see it. I just need to see the silhouette and just be like, oh, so cute.
It's a certain skill, and that's like what Halogen. I mean, you've seen the artwork, the audience haven't yet, but that's the quality that Nadeja has in her art too. Is there's certain people who just know like it's like a set of proportion between the shapes or something that
Yeah.
just like immediately drives people over the edge where they're like, oh my God, that's so cute. Because anytime people sees her art or like anytime someone sees this, I guarantee the first reaction is just, oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah.
And like it's a powerful skill to have because yeah, just the silhouette of that on the cover is just you want to say, oh my God, so cute.
Yeah, and that's like, I think people see stuff like that and brush it off as like, oh, it's just fluff or whatever, but this is so deceptively hard to do. Like, we've been intentionally trying to draw things that are as cute as this for like the story we're working on.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. It's really tricky. So yeah, I have so much respect for someone who can churn out adorable, not just adorable, but like beautiful, cute image after image after image.
Well, and then yeah, it's a lot. I've had a lot of students that they could do like that. They could draw that, but then to do a whole book, to do the backgrounds, to imagine a scene like this where she's just seeing the joy of these luminescent water, a jellyfish. You know, there's a lot of artists that can do like that cute face, but they can't carry it out. And she obviously can fill out a whole world very, very easily.
And this is such a sweet moment too between her and her mom. They're like, I think in the page before she's saying like, no matter what, my mom could always find a way to smile about, like
something to smile about.
Yeah. So even though they're trapped out in this storm in their little boat, like, you know, she's holding on to her daughter and like keeping her comfortable, like keeping her feeling safe enough to like admire the beauty of the moment, even though they're like in a scary situation still, you know.
But also it's a beautiful moment and it's rendered beautifully in the book too. And there's a lot of these like little, I know they're digital, but they look like pastel effects and stuff that I've really been enjoying lately and kind of trying to figure out how to use more of that look too, because it's helpful when you're working with shapes. So I think this is just someone that can get the full extent of what you can get with these tools in her images, and it's a real lesson to look at a lot of this stuff too.
And I think this is something, not just talking about her style, because it's also talking about, like you said, her mom has passed away and stuff, so talking about grief at a young age as well, because she's really young, you know, and she's talking about how they're getting ready to leave the island pretty soon, and she's saying, you know, well, his dad like needed to leave because he needed to get away from everything that had happened with her mom and stuff, but she was saying that she just, all the things that she had never noticed before, like all of a sudden took effort, and then they're showing like just, you know, like everyday things, and like obviously she's grappling with depression and stuff like that, but also grieving and having to become self-sufficient at such a young age all of a sudden, like unexpectedly. Those are things that like her parent would have been doing for her, right?
And showing that impacting something as simple as just walking or like cooking eggs or washing the dishes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she's realizing how not only is that loss so impactful because she's missing her mother, but then it's like, yeah, it also realizing how that radiates out into something as simple as making eggs or like taking a shower. And
taking the time to show that, I think, like since we talked to Dash Shaw, I think I edited that interview so you didn't see it, but thinking more and more about cartooning, the fact that she could communicate all of that with such simple images, and like you said, this idea that some of her designs and stuff, it's easy to write them off as though they're cartoony, so they're simple, but I think really good cartooning is actually one of the hardest things to do, because you have to figure out how to choose that exact right one whittled down thing.
Yeah.
And so you've got like someone's whole month and you've got to pick the exact right 6 images or 7 images. And I think these are all, you know, really well picked to show that someone is still going about their day to day. But then tainting that day to day in exactly the right way.
Yeah, it's like the strangeness of It's like I felt the same thing, and I would text you that all the time after my mom passed away. I was like, I don't know, I still have to get up and like brush my teeth, but my mom is dead, and that's weird. Like, it's very
Yeah.
weird, you know, because like she just died yesterday, but I still have to take care of my teeth, and like that's such a normal thing to do.
Yeah.
But my mom is dead, like you know, and it's just like that weird sense of like surreal distance and like yeah, it's she did a really great job of that. So I think especially for like a young person who's grappling with grief, I think this would be a great book to recommend.
And for kids who haven't, just like, kind of slow exposure.
Yeah, I mean any kid in general, but like particularly one that's age appropriate and like going through those kinds of things.
So here we now have May and Ori, and they have some previous relationship, correct? Like they had known each other prior.
Yeah, like she had saved Ari had saved May previously
As a child. Yeah.
Or not as a child, but like when she was younger. She was out in her boat and she saved her from drowning. So they started to get to know each other and yeah, get involved with one another.
And Ori is letting May know that like the reef is being poisoned, and so that's why like the little aquicorn is having trouble. So there's like an environmental message in here, which is cool that it's not just a fun story, but it kind of has a point. And that you get to see. I really like this underwater world that she's developed. I think it's really beautiful. I think it's again super cute. The colors are lovely. I'm not afraid to admit it. I think everything that I'm working on for the next couple years is like full of pinks and purples and yellows.
Yeah.
So like
they're just nice to look at, man.
Yeah, it's just beautiful colors, like the shapes that she's creating with the hair, just the abstract composition here, and that like mint green against those pinks. I just think it's just all gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, it's super, super pretty. And like really captures that. Like if you've ever been snorkeling or like scuba diving or whatever, like that's what it feels like when you're underwater. Like those things are vibrant and beautiful and magical like that. And so yeah, she's doing a really good sense of capturing like that thing you fall in love with.
That the little girl is like, I want to be that.
Yeah, I want to be there forever. Like, yeah, I just want to live in that big underwater palace.
And here you see it kind of flip the other way, where it's like instead of the bright version of that palette, you get the darker version of that palette, and you see like the rot in the reef. But even there, I still think it's a beautiful set of images, beautiful color combinations and shapes. The aquicorns are so cute. Like it just as a shape, like I love that shape.
Yeah, I mean it's still pretty even here, but yeah, she's showing her like these new nets that you've been using. Basically the whole thing is like as they've been getting to know each other and been getting romantically involved, she's been asking her like, oh, have you noticed like are there less fish? Are they smaller? Like, are you noticing anything's changing? And May's like, no, it's fine. Like sometimes it comes and goes. And finally she shows her this and is like, you have to stop using like these new modern fishing techniques. Like you have to go back to the way your grandmothers used to do it and things like that. And May's like, well, we have to survive, like, you know.
Like in the modern world, we have to meet not just the food demands of our village, but like
they'll be able to like pay for things and sell. And so like they're stuck at these odds and like having this argument about the reality of like needs that are sort of mutually exclusive.
Yeah, and that like May obviously would like to do the right thing, but is also grappling with the real world economic forces that are beyond her grasp to control. So I do appreciate that Katie O'Neill isn't just making a book that's like activist in a way, that she's also showing like, well, they can't just do that. There's some real problems for them if they just do what they should be doing.
Yeah, and it's like the end conclusion is still, well, we still need to make an effort. And like May even makes the argument like, well, we're just one small village. Like it doesn't really matter what we do. Like we don't make a difference one way or the other. And Ari's like, well, but like anything you can do, doesn't it matter enough to you to at least try? You know, anything you can do will help here.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about that yesterday. That's the only kind of activism I can get my mind around is local community, like tangible things, because I don't know, it's like those huge abstract movements, like somebody's got to do them, but it's just not for me. But things like this argument of like, well, you can still make your small changes, and yeah, there are, like, you still need to survive, people still need things in the real world, but like, let's figure out a way to make that work. And that's also something like we've talked a lot about, is
personal choice versus like legislating.
Yeah, and also like, how do we live in a modern world that is still in touch with nature?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to dominate it or separate from it.
Yeah, to work with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really appreciate that like all of her books obviously have, it's pretty obvious where she's coming from politically, but the book is never like just a cardboard cutout message about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it always feels more thoughtful and just like human and rounded out in a way that,
or just allowed to like exist without having to get too deep into it, because there are books for kids, but you know, like also not just covering the argument from too shallow of a standpoint.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's like the right level of mature, because like kids are capable of having complex thoughts about these kinds of things. And oh, that's such a cool shot there of her tear falling into the water.
Yeah, this is where it looks super Miyazaki to me too.
Yeah, that is very Miyazaki.
Yeah, as her tear drops and hits that, and then like radiates out to the aquicorn tip, and then just the imagery throughout here. I'm actually really surprised that these haven't been. I would be really surprised if these haven't been optioned for movies. I'm surprised they haven't been produced already. I would imagine this would be like a gigantic hit on Netflix or.
Yeah, I mean, if that's like not something that's already happening, then it should be.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah.
If it's not. Oh
yeah, this is what I had been talking about earlier with, like, she's saying, I know our village is small and we can only do small things to help, but it's like, if you still think we should do them anyway. And that's what we talked about. I was like, I don't know. I know me making a small choice about like not choosing to buy Chick-fil-A because they hate gay people is like, okay, well, that's do I think that's going to bankrupt Chick-fil-A or make them stop making those choices? No, but I still think that's a choice that I am going to make and like should make. And it's not really my business if anyone even wants to eat at Chick-fil-A, but like, I'm going to make that choice.
And you can make that choice just privately and quietly. It doesn't always have to be like this bombastic public, like getting attention for yourself.
Yeah, and like at no point in the story is anyone like shouting or even arguing. Like they get a little bit heated about it because Ari is a sea spirit and May is a human living in the village, so like they're at odds, but even then they still love each other.
Yeah, and there's never there is no bad guy. It's just the people of the village doing what they've kind of been driven to do. But there's no like evil corporation that's polluting the water or anything. It's just kind of it's not even like they're doing any chemicals. It's just that they've gotten too efficient, basically.
And they've started using like, I think, plastic nets, and that's been particularly, yeah, it's just they're too efficient. They catch too much. They hurt things like in a way that old-fashioned nets apparently wouldn't. And I liked this. She's talking about, May is saying that her mother would be so proud of her mother Melody, and saying that both of you are both gentle and strong. And I thought that was really timely because we had just been talking about what it is to have power and to be powerful and to be strong, and it's like
Cammy said, you have the power to scratch my belly.
Yeah. Cammy wants belly scratches. But I thought that was just a really sweet image, but also a really sweet thought, is like we don't often put those two things side by side, gentleness and strength. And I think,
yeah, well, I mean, there is like the idea of like the thing that's flexible enough to bend in the storm is stronger than the steel pole that is more likely to snap because it can't flex.
Yeah, but like I told you, like when I think of a strong woman, it's like I don't think of a gentle woman or,
Yeah.
you know, when like my gentleness or kindness or whatever, I don't view it as strong, but it is actually.
Yeah, like I view my mom as a very strong woman, but I don't think anyone's.
She's very gentle, yeah.
Yeah, no one's looking at my mom thinking that she's like Ronda Rousey or Amanda Nunes or something.
Yeah.
But you know, like she's impacted so many people, and yeah,
And I just especially like this idea that as a book for like a young person, that's
yeah,
a message
message
for them that you can be both things. That like being strong doesn't have to be being harsh or cold or mean.
And then they finish with like another good lesson here. I think it's time to learn how to be a guardian to myself and my feelings. And then goes back to the gentle and strong thing. Gentle and strong like mom. Coming to the village let me feel safe and protected for a while. Now I have the strength to face the harder things. So I really feel like that's, you know, touching to what we've kind of both gone through, is that we've both, in finding each other and then me getting the full-time job and just having some stability, have both had the strength to face some extremely harder things now. And I mean, I guess I've always been better at the guardian of myself, but we've both been kind of learning that too, that part of that strength to make any difference at all is like, it's not selfish to guard yourself and your feelings. And so I think she's putting that in here in a way that's not selfish to the extent that it's troubling. And it's selfish in the extent that's healthy, and our society often doesn't. It's kind of either like it's bad to be selfish or it's like fuck it, YOLO.
Yeah.
And she has a very balanced, like, you know, you'll help other people by helping yourself, and by helping other people you'll also be helping yourself. And I just really like that in this book.
Yeah, and it's sweet that like her and this little aquacorn have like gone through the same journey now, right? Like he also was like hurt, needed time to rest, needed time to recuperate, and like now he's all healed up and he's ready to go. And like they're both, like she also had a wound, right? She was like healing from losing her mom, trying to like find her way now without her.
Trauma bond.
No, it's just sweet. It's like, yeah, like we talk about that, like her caring for the little aquacorn taught her how to care for herself, and like we've had that discussion all the time. Like I love to care for things, and
yeah, there's definitely that aspect of, and that's something that I've learned like really hardcore, especially over the last couple years, where everything that we've been going through with you medically, I mean, you're the primary person having to struggle through it, but it's a lot of stress on me and stuff too. And so when I enter that panic attack phase or whatever, if I turn towards just caring for you, then it's way easier to get over that stuff, because it's like my attention's externalized. And then it's a weird thing where it can be kind of selfish, but it is like, okay, caring for this thing right now is also gonna make my life better. It's a weird, difficult, strange lesson to learn, and it's almost impossible to talk about it because you have to live it. But
I just think like as a society we view, like all the time I'm like, oh, I feel like a burden. We view caring as only as a burden, and like only as something that someone has to like give up of themselves, but we don't view as being cared for as like giving a gift to someone else too.
Yeah. And but like we do put it in strange places, like taking the time to make something nice, or to take care of your garden or your lawn. Like, you know, who people are judged on having a bad lawn all the time, like, but like when it's applied to people, then it can often be seen as like, hey, you're getting taken advantage of, or
or something like that, or like we don't want to be cared for, but then don't realize like, I don't know, like you've had a lot of self-growth, so I would be shortchanging you, like, and not letting you care for me and like grow as a person. So
Yeah, and like we take care of our car and our house, and yeah, I don't know why we wouldn't, but
yeah. Anyways, we got off on a tangent. Anyways, so for a children's book, like it still gets us thinking about all kinds of deep adult things like that, and it has good lessons and kind lessons and stories.
While also having adorable, awesome character designs, beautiful art, beautiful compositions,
and
beautiful shapes, and aquacorns. So love this book, love Katie O'Neill's stuff. I feel like we love this so much that we're going on. So I think what we'll do is we'll split this overview of Katie O'Neill's work into two, and we will check back in with you tomorrow for a look at the Tea Dragon Society series. Centralia is an awesome, gorgeous comic by rising Dutch star Miel van de Peet. This is his first work. It's a really great sci-fi story. There's a world in the future where the sun has gotten so hot that people can't be on the ground, so they have to run around. There's a lot of conceits that go with that. What is the world that looks like? And I think you can see by the art that Sean's description of this book as like a Moebius for young adults, a YA Moebius, is a really great description of this really gorgeous and like wild, wacky, fun book.